14 incredible things invented by kids. 14. Just for fun. Before we get into our actual, seriously amazing kid inventions, Dominic Wilcox, a designer and inventor himself, asked kids to submit their inventions. He received 450 of them, and from that he chose 60 inventions and actually created them. The results were fabulous, from phone friends to tooth-o-matics and even a family scooter. 13. It's a numbers thing. So, we officially begin by going back in time to the year 1642, where child whiz Blaise Pascal invented the first counting machine when he was just 18 years old. He created it to help his father, who was a tax collector. It had geared wheels and was able to add and subtract two numbers, and multiply and divide through repetition. He made a few of them, but no one was interested. Fast forward a few hundred years, and we can't live without them. 12. Age is but a number. When Louis Braille was just 3 years old, he suffered a very serious eye injury, which rendered him blind in that eye. He then got an infection which sadly affected the other eye, and he became totally blind. At the age of 12, he discovered a method of communication that would eventually become Braille, just like we know it today. 11. Playtime. We see so many things every day that we live, yet we give very little thought as to how they were invented or who came up with the idea. And it's rare that we think very small children would have thought of that idea. For example, 6-year-old Robert Patch was the creator of the toy truck. It was patented in June of 1963, and the rest is history. 10. Entrepreneurial spirit. Abbey Fleck definitely has that. And it's thanks to her that we have Makin Bacon dishes. She was 8 years old when she came up with the idea, after running out of paper towels to soak up the bacon juices with. Her grandfather took a loan out to pay for the first 100,000 of them. Walmart were keen on the product, and at one stage, she was earning $1 million a year in royalties. 9. Color my world. Cassidy Goldstein was 11 years old when she had the great idea of inventing these plastic crayon holders. You know how easily crayons can break, and you end up throwing them away because they're difficult to color with once they're broken. She approached patent lawyers when she was 12, and along with her dad, they founded a company called By Kids for Kids. The money she earned from this invention put her through college and paid for her New York apartment. 8. Second chances. If you met Chester Greenwood in the 1800s, you might have initially thought he was a bit of a loser, as he had dropped out of grammar school and wasn't quite sure what he was going to do with his life. When he was 15, he was out on the ice, busy skating, but his ears were freezing. So he tried to cover them up with his scarf, but that itched like crazy. He then used wire to create ear-shaped loops and had his granny sew some fur into them. That was the first of many great inventions patented by this clever kid. 7. Thanks, Pop. Frank Epperson's kids must have thought him the coolest dad ever. When he was just a boy, he left some drink mix and water outside, and it froze solid with his little stirring stick inside it. He was just 11 at the time, and that was back in 1905. He called it the Epsicle, and made many of them thereafter. His kids started calling them popsicles, and in 1923, that's what they officially became known as. 6. My hero. One of the most well-known superheroes of all time is all thanks to Jerry Siegel and his creative imagination when he was a teen. He was quite arty and enjoyed working for his school newspaper. Students really enjoyed his cartoon strip, a spoof of Tarzan. One night when he was struggling to sleep, he came up with the Superman idea. Mind you, he had thought of the name before, but it was initially a villain. But this restless night was about to change all that. He and his artist friend Joe Shuster created Superman as we know him. 5. Something for the guys. What began as a bit of a joke turned out to be a fabulous invention by Hart Main. His sister had made a range of candles for her school fundraiser, but they were all feminine scents, so he suggested that they try to do more manly-oriented scents instead. His parents overheard him and thought it was a great idea. He sells scents like coffee, new mitt, bacon, and freshly cut grass. 2 years after launching his man cans, he hired a warehouse and employed 5 people to help keep up with demand. In 2011, he sold 25,000 cans. 4. Brilliance springs to mind. Trampolines are pretty much a staple in any home with little kids and a yard, and we can thank the then 16-year-old George Nissen. He was watching a traveling circus in 1930, and he thought it would be amazing if he could bounce like the performers. He and his gymnastic coach then spent 4 years perfecting what we now know as the trampoline. 3. Huge thanks. Just the thought of the cold snow entering my sleeve makes me shiver. But thanks to KK Gregory, that's a thing of the past. She invented wristies when she was just 10 years old. They are fingerless gloves that go halfway up your arm, preventing any snow sneaking in there. But that's not all they're good for. You can do anything wearing wristies. As the site says, what are customers doing when they wear wristies? Motorcycling, cold offices, grandson plays the bagpipe, mom wears them daily, hands cold at work, playing clarinet. As soon as it gets cold, they keep me warm. I love wristies. 2. Great idea. This is one of those ideas when you think, wow, that's incredible. Why can't I think of stuff like that to invent? Sarah Bucknell was in 8th grade in 2006 when she came up with the idea of making magnetic wallpaper for lockers. She was really amped to decorate her school locker, but was so not keen to scrape it clean at the end of the year. With the help of her dad, they launched her range of magnetic wallpapers, and within a year had made $1 million in sales. 1. An upgrade on the piggy bank. The Oinkosaurus app is an app created by Fabian Fernandez Han, and he was just 12 years old when he did so. It teaches kids about finance, how to manage their money, and even the stock market. It also features a what-if simulator, which shows kids what they could have bought if they hadn't spent their money on frivolous things. Have you ever invented something? If so, tell us about it in the comments below. And subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos just like this. Thanks for watching.